Welcome to Poets at War, a podcast documenting the brood of writers, where art, theology, philosophy, and fun beckon your ears. Today on the program, we enter the tactical warroom. The chief bard sits down with his production tacticians to map out the future invasion plans for Idiot's Guide to Illegal Tech Repair. We are discussing the transformation of poetry into space opera, the philosophy of audio-first storytelling, and the weaponization of melody against the modern noise. First up, if time and energy were no object, how does one turn a poetic serial into a cultural phenomenon? Jesse proposes a radical tactical shift towards the musical, arguing that to win the hearts of the people, we must first win their ears.
Wings on the cottage, wings on the wood, wings upon pot and pan. For the hunting of the dragon, that is the life of a man.
His opinion on intentionality with art. There should be an intention behind it. It should serve a purpose. I agree. That's the ideal. That's the long term. But I also just used Sora to make a thing for a client just today. Well, so it's like there's a degree of it where
have a disconnect.
You kind of just have to use a little bit of AI.
Well, my whole thing is I have a disconnect where I feel like no matter how much intentionality you put in the thing, either it's A-roll or it's B-roll, and whether it's A-roll that is light, you know, even if it was a hand. See, here's the thing. He doesn't even like the concept, and he admitted this to me. He doesn't even like the concept of a hand-drawn motion comic in general. He thinks that the having a secondary video experience to a primary audio experience to him is essentially, and he admits it's perfectly preference category for him, but he feels like that's wasted energy that could be put further into the audio and the writing.
Well, sure. But you could also spend every moment of your waking day writing and making sure that the writing is perfect for every video. So, right. You know, go with what style fits you.
Well, here's my question.
But I do see where he's coming from.
No, go ahead. Yeah, you see where he's coming from. Okay. As far as that goes, where would you take this? Because quite frankly, at this point, my head is so in the story itself and in the performance of the characters, whether I am performing only the characters that 100% my authentic voice goes into, the narrator, or voices that I am then puppeting an AI sound for. Like whatever it is, performance and the story itself are the two things that I am most passionate about. I love making and playing with all these extra tools, but if Jesse was tasked and actually had the time, this is completely hypothetical, to, you know, say you had the time, you were going to be taken care of money-wise, and you had all the time and energy you wanted to actually invest in making Idiot's Guide a thing on the internet, what would you, as the production director, make this? Format-wise and publishing-wise and promotional-wise?
I would first start by going to use the bathroom and getting another thing of tea while I chew on this. I'll be back in just a moment. That's a very good question.
Did you reboot?
I restarted the app.
Okay.
Is it faster?
Let's see how it does.
One.
Oh, you want me to say 2?
Oh, my apologies. Yeah. 1.
2.
Okay. It's normal.
Better.
It's normal.
Okay.
Much better.
Okay.
If I had unlimited resources, I would probably do... No, I'm not going to start with that, actually. That's, I'll get back to that in a moment. You want it to be a space opera, mostly music-centric. Although the poetic, it's poetic meter, so it's going to be slightly different. But
Also, poetry is completely an option, but like basically I'm saying with the text and with my performance, what would you do? You can
just
add whatever you want to it. No,
your...
you can add whatever you want to it, take away whatever you want from it. The only things that are must-haves are the text and my performance as the bard, the writer and the author, right? You can have me as narrator. You can put me anywhere in it, but I have to be performing in some manner with my voice.
Oh, I mean, obviously, yeah. You would, of course. You'd probably be doing multiple.
Right.
Well, it's an audio.
And if I want to narrow down specifically, real quick, if I want to narrow down specifically, say you have all the time and energy, and none of it will take away from your bottom line personally, okay? But you do not have any resources outside monetarily or like staffing than what we have currently. Okay, so you have unlimited time, you have unlimited, druthers as far as what you want to do, but those are the two things you have to have: the text and my performance in some measure with my voice, and otherwise we have whatever money we actually have and whoever we can get involved. That's the thing. If you were driving this, what would you do?
It's primarily an audio experience, which means you need to make it an audio experience that's good. If you fail on that, literally nothing else of the project matters. There's no point in doing any of it. Already the poetry is good, and it tells of what of the first episode that I've read. Already I can tell the story is something special. And it's fun. It's a fun meter. So if you were to only play it out as poetry, nobody's going to notice it. It's going to go under the radar. But if you treated it more as an opera-like musical, then people can notice it, because people can listen to it whenever they're in the car. They can recite their favorite little poetry or song that they remember from how the 320 sphere gets captured or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So if you could get that, that'd be great. But that means it needs to be musically good. It needs to be musically good. Like somebody actually has to be dedicated to making the music for it. I mean, I know Suno has the option to export stuff as individual tracks and whatnot, but you need somebody who's like comfortable with music theory.
Yeah. And I'm probably 70-80% to that, but the amount of time to put into that is not something that I have. Yeah.
Crazy high. So
yeah.
Do you know, I'm sure you know roughly about Epic the musical. One of the big reasons why it's so incredibly popular or what's so famous is because it was basically just one guy who made it. I mean, he had people who would sing everything, but the whole thing, that was just his college project. And he decided to finish it even beyond that. Won a huge legal battle because people the studio that was helping him tried to steal it. And he won and then finished the musical. And the thing about that is it's audio first. Like, there are people who made fan animations, but nothing is any high quality visual experience. And once they are in the process of making an actual full length visual experience for it. Eventually, it'll probably make its way onto Broadway. But the only reason it's getting there is because it was good. First being audio. So yeah, the audio would need to be good. It would need to be fun to listen to. It would need a bunch of sound effects. It would need probably a bunch of voice actors, or at least very dynamic voice actors. Which there's, I mean, just within the Brood, you've got more than enough people already. But now, with the added thing of it being music centered, it needs to be singers. that narrows it down significantly.
Yes. But we do have more
But
singers
at least,
in our group on average versus other groups.
at the very least, for like first draft stuff, you don't need the perfect singer for every character immediately, because you're just making the music first. You're making the songs first. You are singing them out, but they're not going to be like final by any means. But they would at least be able to convince other more qualified singers to be able to do so. And then later down the road, after the whole project is finished as a audio experience, maybe consider some type of visual medium. And by then, I mean, things are going to change significantly with AI. I'm not saying it would be heavily used, but it probably would be used. Weird segue. If we're going into visual, do you know, this is weird, do you know In Space with Markiplier?
I know who Markiplier is. I don't know what In Space with Markiplier is.
So for years and years, Markiplier has actually wanted to be a film director. In fact, he's got a film that's coming out. I don't remember if it's A24 if he is independently funding it, but he's making a feature-length film that's going out in theaters at some point next year, I think, if not this year. And he's been making films and short films and stuff like that. And one of the most significant projects he did was In Space with Markiplier, which was a choose-your-own-adventure style video series that you could, by the end of each video, it could be 20 seconds long, or it could be 8 minutes, 10 minutes long. You would click on one of the video suggestions, which would be like choose the next step, choose your path, choose your own adventure, that style. Anyway, my point is not that this should be a choose your own adventure. Literally, what I'm trying to get to is the visual style that he had for that was pretty good. Probably not it's not perfect for this, but it's probably closer in the right direction because it was a bunch of real people using sets and whatnot and green screens, but it was a fun, very, very, very fun experience. Obviously, it was in a first-person perspective. I don't imagine this would be, but it would be cool to have some type of live action. That's way out of my scope for something of that size and of that nature. As far as visual medium, I wouldn't even worry about it. I would just worry about the audio. Make the audio experience fun, rewarding for people to listen to. And on the other side of that, visual medium can then start to make sense. With Epic the musical, I mean, that's kind of what, I forget what his name, Jorge had done. It's what I mean, there's plenty of other musicals and plays I could use. The only one I've enjoyed recently has been Epic, so I'm using that as my example for that reason. Audio first. Music is important because if you can make people remember, not just to a poetic meter, but to a rhythm, to a melody, now you've changed the game. That would probably start to fight a little bit with the poetic meter to an extent. That's something that would take a lot of working through. There are some, you can do unmetered music, which is possible, and doable, but yeah.
I've been figuring out a lot of stuff regarding, because here's the thing. I have written songs the same way you do, from scratch, top to bottom, with full, not sheet music, but chords and melodies and et cetera, et cetera. And like I have things 100%. I've done that from scratch, probably about maybe a dozen songs that I've done like that. Not from these stories necessarily, although a couple of them for these stories. Some of those poems actually started as songs in my head, you know, and then that's something to bounce off of. But the Suno thing, I've noticed in playing with it a lot and trying to get scratch tracks, kind of demos of everything. And I'm probably 30, somewhere around 30 poems into 25 to 30 poems into Guardians of Atlanta. Like every day I'm just working on it one until I get a decent demo that I'm like, okay, I can at least play with that down the line, play with the stems, change it up, move it around, whatever. And keep in mind, I also have mixing wise and creating remixes experience all the way back to when I was 11. So I at least have the DJ sense of music, like BPM and making sure things, you know, you got all them.
I'm saying if this was like something, I'm just playing it out to its full conclusion. If we were to actually pour a bunch of stuff into this, go ahead.
Yeah, let me finish the one thing that I was saying there with Suno. I'm learning how to deal with stuff that is in a meter that is funky or different by grouping various things together in ways that make more sense musically, but keeping all of the rhymes and the basically the way I wrote it the same. It's just basically the way Suno works is it tries to structure either a melody or a rap rhythm based on the meter and the header of a section. Each section, whether it's intro, outro, chorus, pre-chorus, verse, etc., bridge, etc., 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 right? So basically all of those different pieces of music in pop music writing terms have their own special bent to them. And by creating something around those modular concepts of like, you know, bridge, verse, chorus, et cetera, and not changing my poetry at all, but trying to approach it as what is the through line here? How can I desection these things from each other? Right. Has proved really, really good at taking out the jankiness of how if you just spit something into AI, it's going to do stuff that musically doesn't make sense. Right. And so I'd love to send you some and get your thoughts on them down the line. But I do think that there's a way to get these things in a situation that all it needs is final polish. And I can't necessarily even do, like, I can do final polish on some of them, but not all of them, especially if I'm drafting all of them, right? But I'm saying on a final polish level, not of recording and outputting, but of actual songwriting. Do you see what I'm saying? So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, because that is a different way that I'm seeing no one else approaching it that way. To try and specifically get the jank out, because it's like you got one extra line. If it's not, it's looking at it mathematically is what it is. If I have sections that are 6 lines, and then I have sections that are 8 lines, and then I have a section that's 14 lines. Well, if I can even them out, each of them can be a verse. Or if I take 2 of them and even them out, but then one of them's kind of the remainder, that can maybe be a bridge, that remainder. You see what I'm saying? And doing it in a way that makes sense with the story as well as the music. Yeah.
I'd have to listen to 2 examples of the same poem. One where you just throw it in and it spits out, and then one where you actually fix it. Or doctor it up, and that would probably be more helpful, because I can't really hallucinate the experience, but I do understand what you mean.
Yeah. Okay. So in that case, I am gonna take Idiot Dope, the second poem where they're fighting through the bay and all that kind of stuff. The second poem of ITR. And I'm gonna do my magic on that one and create something. I very much picture sort of a vaporwave, retro wave sort of feel to it. Are you familiar with that genre?
Not super.
So, take 80s pop music and then add Stranger Things instrumentation. You know what I'm talking about?
Makes sense.
And you've got the do 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 kind of bass underneath, like do 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 do, you know, that kind of a thing. And so, I've written theme songs for each of my series too that are like thematically resonant and can be used as a theme song for an episode, right? And Alex actually doesn't hate some of the theme songs, so that's a good sign. And so basically, with all that being said, I'm also trying to get good at recording my voice and making it sound good mastered with the track, and that's always hard and whatever else, but I'm getting better at it. Being a DJ, I know a lot of this stuff already. It's just a matter of learning it on like the next level, like recording, mastering. And so basically, I think that path really is doable. What would that look like putting something out, in your opinion? Like, how would you, given my current brand and aesthetics and all the other stuff that I do, not just ITR, but any of my stories, if I was to put out one of these albums, how would you do it? Or episodes, albums, whatever you want to call it. Because I agree with you, the music's a major thing. Casey has always said their music, like, this needs to be music. And I consider her, anytime she's very hesitant to say anything artistic about anything that I do, because she loves it so much and doesn't want to change it. So when she says something like very affirmative, like this should be music, I'm like, okay, I need to listen to you. Yeah. And when you're saying it too, Alex isn't completely sold, because he's like, nobody's doing epic poetry, so I want you to do that. But he also hates AI music, just because of the AI voices. He's heard some of the other ones I've done, and this was before I started doing the thing that I'm talking about, sort of the rejiggering of the verses and things like that, like I was talking about. But he hates it so much at this point, it's not going to matter. You know, kind of, you know, where I'm at with this sort of a thing. But I, you know me, I've talked about it. I'm fully like, let's go on AI in general. It's just a matter of how do we use it rightly. So, I don't know. Publishing this is the next step. And I'm just thinking through this, and you helping me think through this means a lot, because like, you like it enough to see, kind of vaguely picture, like, how would I do this for a client? This is something that I would like to do if I literally had, you know, all that kind of stuff. And having someone who cares about it at least that much is really valuable to me. So I'm just trying to help me think through this.
When do you want this published? By a certain time, or when it's good?
That's the other question. Like, how would you do that? Like, how would you go about it, including time?
I'd make it a year-long project. How many episodes are there? Are there gonna be?
Of which one? Guardians or Idiot's Guide specifically?
I'll say Idiot's Guide, because I know Guardians of Atlanta is like a bajillion long.
It's not that long. It's not much longer. Idiot's Guide is going to be 100 plus poems, and our Guardians is like 112, something like that. And so each of those episodes, it's like 10 episodes for a season, 10 poems to an episode, basically. Roughly, you know, that's the rough. It's a lot. I'm aware of that. Alex said if we can hang on for a second, he can be on. I'm willing to go to 11:30 tonight. We figured out it's so funny. Casey being pregnant and tired, and she's needed to go to bed earlier, and that's cut into my time working late, and working late is the only time I can work uninterrupted most of the time throughout the day. And so basically we have just a big thick, like that thick mattress that we sleep on the floor, like a big boy thick mattress. And I've been moving it out when Peter goes to bed, moving it out to the living room for 2 nights, and it's already been absolutely fantastic. I don't have to worry about being interrupted at all. And there were a couple nights where I was recording and she started snoring, and even my AI can't pull that out because it's inconsistent. Right? The AI on my mic. And so it was just interrupting, and I'm like, she has to sleep. So basically just that has worked well, and we've been moving the bed back in the morning, and that's been good. But yeah, you do what you do. Anyway, back to what we were saying. You're still thinking and ruminating.
What are you asking me specifically? Just for advice or for help?
So I am asking for help, but it's like that's going to be beyond after we actually deal with the story aspects of ITR. That's all I want you to focus on right now. On in the future, the fact that you have production level interest, you're literally the first person who has production level interest in anything that I'm doing, even if it's just a passing interest. I'm not saying that you have interest, just you're one of the first people that has a passing interest in this, besides maybe Benjamin Curley. And so like I tend to take that very seriously, even on just a pick your brain level, because I contrary to what it seems like to a lot of people, I don't want to do the production if I don't have to, but I am interested in the puzzle of the process, if that makes sense. And knowing every aspect of the process like a Walt Disney is what I hope for one day, to where I can be like, hey, let's break this down. Tell me what we're doing. Like, you know, look at all the details and help me figure it out. Right. Like I'm more of that than I am like actually producing something, unfortunately. And even though I can produce stuff, obviously, like I'm producing podcasts and doing all kinds of things, the two things that have been non-negotiable are, like I said, my writing and my performance. I want to add other people, and I want to scale back to where those are the things that I'm doing. And I don't think doing that now is the right answer. But what's the roadmap? Does that kind of make sense? I know I'm getting bigger or broader with what I'm saying, but
yeah. I think let's not get too broad yet. Right now, I am fine. I'm absolutely up for like being involved and helping you out with story stuff and whatnot. But anything past that, I don't yet have the capacity to even think about, because I'm still.
Oh yeah, I know.
A hope of mine right now is to get an album out. Goodness.
Yes, I want you to get that out, and I want to help if I can.
Yeah. I would greatly appreciate if there's something I can get you to do for that.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just like promotional.
Heck yeah.
And once I'm done with that and the season starts kicking back up, I'm sure next year, but I would then have the capacity to start thinking about that again.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I was in, I would not half step in. I would have to be in. Mm-hmm. To like really help.
Yeah.
So the only if each poem was 3 minutes long, you'd be looking at 5 hours.
Oh, I know. Guardians is about 5 hours. Yeah, it's like just under 5.
Yeah. For epic poetry. I actually understand it works as far as that goes. But if you're going
each
a musical
episode
route,
is about 20 minutes.
each episode is about 20 minutes. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, but if you're going a musical route and you wanted to make it good, there would be a lot of production involved. 20-minute episodes is not impossible to do. It's actually quite doable. There'd be a
20, 30 minute. Yeah.
That'd be about what, 15 episodes?
So let's do 5 hours divided by
15.
Yeah. So basically, so that would be 15 if it was 20-minute episodes. So they're closer to like 25. But it just depends. Like some of them are legitimately shorter, some of them are legitimately longer. I think the shortest one I've ever clocked was around 18, and then the longest one I ever clocked was like 33. Right.
So let's just say there's 10 episodes.
Yeah. What's up? You back?
Hello. I'm back.
Bonjour. He's back.
So I to sum up, I asked Jesse about if he had his druthers, how would he do my how would he produce my stories, basically.
Okay.
And with little budget and what we have, but he had unlimited time and energy and blah 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 if he was in charge. And the two things that were non-negotiable were my performance in some degree, voice wise, and my writing. And basically what he's come to is musicals similar to epic, but he's differentiating that, and we're going into specifics at the moment. So just catching
since
you up.
It's like sci-fi, like you said, vaporwave, maybe
ITR
the music would
specifically,
have its ITR would have it's a very distinct style. But what I mean,
it's actually more sprawling because each of the characters kind of has their own style. Sirius Jones is country. I call it Southern Gothic is what it really is. And then William is hymns, and then Bobby is funk music, and Amira is sort of like yearning pop music out of the four of them. So yeah, but anyway, so that would have a little more variety, but go ahead with Idiot's Guide specifically. But he's very on the audio experience frame as you are at this point. He doesn't necessarily have issue with the B-roll video stuff, as you said, but he does think like this stuff is audio at its core. We should kind of try to focus on that.
I mean, yeah, not for the same reasons. I think it should be audio focused because this is the kind of thing that people can sing while with their family on road trips.
That's fair. Like I don't. The B-roll isn't an issue for me so much as I think it's just completely unnecessary.
It would be too much of a distraction at first. Long term, by all means.
Yeah.
Short term, like, definitely not a focus.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that I'm saying about the B-roll.
Cool. So we're on the same page as far as that goes. Cool. But yeah, Jesse, you're still thinking, are you still hung up on the time length of an episode sort of thing? Is that something that you're kind of thinking through?
Kind of. I'm trying to not think too practically, because I'm not running like any math on it.
Right.
But 5 hours is a good deal of work. It's not impossible to do, especially if you're breaking it up into episodes. It actually makes it a lot more manageable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't imagine it would take under a year by any means.
Right.
Man, I'm trying to not get ahead of myself. I mean, I'm sure there would wind up this is just by the nature of projects like this. There would probably be cut content, but even then, 10 episodes, roughly 4 to 5 hours, is probably what it would land at. That's where the story. And are you saying that's how much you have so far, and there will be more?
Idiot's Guide may have a second season, but I want to approach full production as I want to approach it like, to me anyway, I think it makes sense to approach it like a TV show in some ways, where you have a season and you have episodes, right? And we focus, we have our season idea and basically like what schedule we have for the season, and then we're dealing with the micro productions of the seasons, and then, or excuse me, the episodes, and then further down you have the individual poems or chapters or whatever you want to call them, the songs, right?
Yeah, little chapters inside of the episodes. I actually really do like the way that's broken up, because that would be really interesting to see a musical opera style thing released episodically like that, each having like 4 to 5 or more. How many did the first one have?
10 to an episode. Yeah, the first one has 10. Lockdown is the last one in that episode. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not trying to just like not talk. I'm really trying to weigh this out in my mind.
Yeah.
I've never like worked on a project like this. The closest thing I've had is working on an album that still isn't finished. If we were to do this, we would do this.
Yeah.
You got in here. I
There'd
forgot
be no
to shut the
half-assing
door.
allowed.
Nope.
Would you say
Nothing
Jesse?
in his mouth.
I was saying there would be no half-assing allowed. We would do this.
Don't half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing.
Yeah.
But there's 2 butt cheeks. Anyway. Anyway, no joke, no laughs. Okay. Anyway.
I chuckled.
Okay, good.
I could see it being something special. Not even cutting down any of the content. That's releasing it episodically. It would probably take longer than a year to make it, if we're just doing like music wise.
What is the main hang up in your opinion on that? Is it pre-production? Is it actual production? Like what is the breakdown as far as you see on that? Like what is the time sink? I'm just wondering, not that I want to delete it or anything. I'm like, where are we really actually putting the time on that? I know you're still 30,000 feet, but production, do you think would be the hardest?
Definitely production. Pre-production on something, we don't have to worry about visuals. We just have to worry about what the story is, and you've already got like the story lined out.
Would you consider songwriting, the actual musical element, to be pre-production? Because I would.
Songwriting, close to it. It's like between pre-production and production. Actually, making the songs sound good would take a long time. Pre-production on them is not necessarily as big of an issue. It would just take a while. The hang up is just it's a big project. It's a big project. I'm making an album with 13 songs. I started almost a year ago on next Thursday. And it's big. It's a big project. Now, obviously, that's like spare time, and I honestly haven't really like put any work into it in like 3 months.
It's also a learning process in some regard, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. This is I'm doing this like I'm thinking about this, assuming I would probably rope in somebody who's better with music, who I know who probably wouldn't be opposed to something like this. Although this time would be sparing. So it would mainly be like post-production. I wouldn't involve him too much on pre-production or anything like that. It's just making the music sound good. It would just take a while. That's it. That's the big hang up. It would take a while. It would take a lot of effort. It would take a lot of late nights. And it would probably be an almost every single day we'd be in a call discussing it, moving forward with the project. There would need to be a lot of good self-management involved. We would need to keep up with deadlines. Everybody would need a part to play. It would be a lot. And I don't think I have the capacity to think about it too much right now. Because if I am thinking about it, and it's exciting to me. I'm excited by the prospect of working on something like that. That would be a bunch of fun. It would be so much work, and it would probably be very, very worth it. But I mean, like in this season, until I finish my album, that's whenever I'm like, okay, I can think about another project to do. Because I was already thinking like next year I might do another album. I might, depending on how people receive it, I might actually consider doing a Prince Caspian album. That could be fun because I already had a few ideas for some songs maybe popping up. So I knew I was already wanted something music centric. So,
like I said, I'm not asking for anything right now as far as that goes. Like, I love the fact that you're into it and would love to do something. I'm trying to approach this as, look, there's no end to the amount of story and performance that I can give. Not really, because I don't know if I've ever said this to you, but I think I have. I'm close to 500 poems in total that are all like serial specific poems at this point across all my stories and worlds. There is no end in sight if we're actually like producing something. That's both great and scary because people want to do their thing too. They're artistic. I get that. I'm not trying to tie anyone down. I'm not trying to I don't want anyone to feel tied down. I don't want anyone to have to feel beholden to me and my stories. And in some ways, I think I've been too far down that road. And then when we read one of mine, everyone's just like, whoa, I forgot how good you are. Like, I've literally had people say that. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, you shouldn't forget how good I am, because that's like the reason I'm doing all this Poets at War stuff, right? Like, not me, not about me, but like the work that I'm producing is good, and I have to use nonfiction to promote it, and it's just it's part of our age,
Just to speak freely, and this is myself included. If people in the Brood just got off their butts, they would be making some of the best projects out there right now. 6 months from now, they would be all working on projects with each other that would, 6 months from then, be a huge deal. At least in their circles.
If people in the Brood stopped using the internet except for the Brood, that would fix it. Because we have a lot of people who are spending their time, spending their resources on being online, me included, who could be using all of that time to do anything else.
So let's apply that to me. So let's apply that to me, not to be egotistical. I'm not saying that. But okay, let's reverse this out of Jesse being production manager. Let's turn this into Jesse being production advisor for a one-man show. It's my performance.
For one-man show.
It's my story. My story and my performance, same non-negotiable parameters. What's the best use of my time?
Like all of it, 100% just yours?
Yep. Let's go all the way to that extreme. Obviously, I want to include more people. And it is a one-man show right now in a lot of ways, but at least as far as my fiction.
All the way extreme, if it's just you, that thing with using Suno would be good. I think Suno has an correct me if I'm wrong, I think Suno has an option where you can use melodies that you create.
Yes.
I
use that regularly.
Music. So spend time making the melodies actually good. Spend time on voice training for harmonies specifically. I mean, you're already. I remember you're good at harmonizing. and Foley. Making sound effects for it as well would probably be good. Getting like some kind of subscription to.
I already have that.
I use Envato elements.
So you would say radio drama. Yeah. So as far as the lone still visual is what we're talking at this point. You're talking just a series visual, or are you talking a per episode visual? Just one still.
Question mark? I don't understand the question.
Where would I be releasing this? Where would I be releasing this?
Oh.
I was thinking YouTube immediately, but you might have another idea. Podcast, other.
YouTube is definitely a place where it can exist. It could probably exist on Spotify. But for something like this, you'd have to push it hard on socials. Mm-hmm. Like crazy hard on socials. Like it would be your every waking moment, not literally. But you'd be posting about it on a regular basis on some behind the scenes stuff for this song that everybody likes. Giving sneak peeks of future songs and episodes that'll be coming, and it would be super hard on places like TikTok, Facebook.
So is that something
Instagram.
that needs to be thought about right now, or am I supposed to be getting work done?
Supposed to be getting work done. I would say like get episode 1 if you're just going to be making it in a chronological order. You finish one and you have a little bit of stuff for the next ones, but then you finish that and then you move on to the next one. Release that and push it. And once it's released, you need to have like a 3 to 6 week plan before it's released on how to start somehow promoting it. Maybe you release like the first song or maybe the best song on that episode. Treat it like a mini album and be like, this is a song from this thing and whatnot.
So you think straight up acting as more so as it is an album than a radio drama episode?
Treat it more like an album, yeah. I think so. That probably wouldn't be the terminology you use, but treat it like an album. With people, only homeschoolers, which is a very small minority in the United States, would understand if you said it was a radio drama, because they like grew up with Adventures in Odyssey, and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever."
Heck yeah!
You need a niche audience that really gets it, and you'll I mean, it's the internet, you'll find that. But if it's good and it gets popular, that can be a big deal. I don't mean like it needs to be number one or anything, but several thousand people are in on it. That'd be good. People are always going to be able to smell AI. They'll be able to hear it too. You have to use it smartly because, again, like I said, Suno with the waveforms and whatnot can actually be doctored up really well.
Yes.
And people won't be able to tell. In which case, now you're actually making good stuff. It exports to MIDI. That's what it is. It exports to MIDI tracks.
It doesn't yet,
that's why
believe it or not. But yes, you can do MIDI soon. So, but you can still doctor up the individual stems a lot more than you could the entire thing. So, and then you can add tracks and you can take away stuff. And if I mostly use, this is the other thing. There's one called Automy, which is Automy is an AI thing that basically takes, although I might do 11 Labs, I've got to look at their stuff. But basically, Automy is for singing specifically, and they do high quality voice stuff that's way better than Suno for vocals specifically. Like that's their main focus is vocals. And I might look at them, might look at 11 Labs, might look at a combination of both, but I really want to puppet my AIs as much as possible with my own performance. And then, change them up accordingly. And I think if I do that, things are going to be a lot better when I do have to use AI. Okay, so in this case, so with an album, most people say go stream it, and they do Spotify, although that's changing. How do you feel about pushing everyone to I don't even want to push people. I'm saying, like, I really, really, really feel like if I'm going to do this kind of production, which really doesn't scare me the level you're talking about, actually, I'm not seeing what the experience is for the end user. If that makes sense. I don't have a vision for that. And I feel like the more boutique you get, there's diminishing returns. And the more broad you get, there's obvious diminishing returns. However, I don't know, man. I'm planning on getting off at 11:30 regardless, just so you know. I'm not trying to keep you longer than that.
To avoid, well, I'm still working later than that, so
yeah.
To avoid, I don't want to just overqualify absolutely everything, but what's the question that that it's asking? The story.
That what's asking? The story?
Idiot. I'm unfortunately I'm
Guide.
more familiar with Idiot's Guide, even though Guardians of Atlanta is older.
Yeah. The thing that it's talking. Guide? Yeah, Idiot's Guide is questioning what is life, and that's really the biggest thing, and also what is what is freedom and what is autonomy. Those basically are the three, right?
Yeah, those are important questions right now. How do you define human life? How do you define human sanctity? Those are big questions that people refuse to acknowledge now, or they do and they simply ignore it, or refute it,
or go the complete libertine way. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to have free will? What does it mean to be autonomous? Social media sways people. That's a big one. That helps. So those are at the very least the themes and the questions it's asking are very good because they're just human. I guess I'm trying to not be biased towards musical, but I also recognize that I definitely am.
I am too.
Yeah. The thing that I imagine is one of my brothers or sisters excitedly shares something with the family on one Sunday afternoon that they discovered, and they said, "I'm really excited about this new thing," and they schedule a time.
I just found this new thing. It's great. We've got to listen to it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what happened with Epic the Musical, where my oldest brother and his wife, they were like, "Hey, we're going to have everybody watch this. Come over to our house on a Sunday afternoon." We all watched it. Everybody fell in love with it immediately. Even though it was like, poorly animated fan animations, the music was so incredible that it really made up for it. Or Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which is now a Game of the Year candidate, which my brother introduced to a good portion of the family so far. I haven't finished it, but every now and then on like Sunday afternoons, we watch a little bit more of it together, and I'm like, yeah, This is obviously incredible work. It was made by a very small team. They did a good job. The music in it is also incredible. A guy who had like never had experience on doing that kind of thing. So I see stuff like that. People are still, even with all of the AI around, people still appreciate good storytelling, and they especially appreciate whenever they can tangibly see the amount of people who made it. They don't. Nobody cares about what Tetrarch is making for the next Call of Duty Black Ops 7 game. Like I don't know if you've seen anything in social about it, but it looks terrible. Nobody cares about it. It's such an overinflated company. There's no point in paying it any attention. But people will absolutely go crazy telling the stories of the people who made the stories that they already love.
Right.
Matey, you've met Matey, and John, my older brother, who introduced us to Expedition 33, will just be like talking to each other about like, oh my gosh, the person who did this thing for the motion capture, or the voice actor for this character was talking with the music, and they're just telling stories about the people who made this story, because they care about the whole thing. That's why I haven't really formulated this too much, but that's part of the reason why I don't see AI actually being a threat. It's going to be a very good tool. People are so scared that it's going to be a threat. No,
Completely agree.
Nobody's going to care to talk about how you can't really tell a story about how this AI program plus this AI program just made final product. Nobody cares. You know, they might care about the final product. The final product might be good, absolutely.
Or the workflows. Some people care about the workflows, but those are the artists themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Marley makes automations with AI literally all the time. He just did one, or he's doing one to save up like 30 minutes of time of mine per week, and I'm like, sweet. I think it's a good tool. You've already seen an example of I mean, I have other examples, but that's one that I thought was funny that I should show of using AI just simply as an end product, a very small thing. People care about good storytelling. They always have.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever they can see a group of, like a small group of people very passionate about their craft making that, and it winds up being good, they care all the more because they start to realize that they can do that in their lives as well. That's why it's more inspiring to them. You're not inspired by algorithms, you're inspired by people. You're not inspired by brave hero goes up mountain. You're inspired by Samwise saying, I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you. Because you actually realize the context that this is a human struggle here. This is it's very different.
Yes.
People care about stories. They care about the storytellers. They care usually more than people would give them credit for.
So if I'm taking the druthers of the actual art itself, ITR, you know what that tells me?
Druthers. What do you mean, druthers? What's that?
I'll give you the definition of druthers.
It's a contraction of would rather, southernized. Like, I'd rather this.
Wishes, preferences, or ways. If I had my druthers, the right or chance to choose.
If you had your would rathers about Idiot's Guide.
Yes, if I had, if the art would have its druthers about the Idiot's Guide and the way we put it out. To me, this sounds really wacky in some ways, but a single web page that has a YouTube embedded thing where we're literally running off of YouTube, dealing with it like with duct tape and glue and whatever else, and essentially having here's another video on how to download these videos if you want them. I mean, just like here's the thing, this is a thing, I made it, here it is. Like if I was taking it 100% in that direction, I would be absolutely piggybacking off of the behemoth in my own way, making them unlisted videos and being like, here it is on this one web page. If you want it, here's the one place you can go to see it. And then, maybe have a couple backups like further down the page, a couple links, like if the YouTube, whatever, if you can't get to YouTube, here it is in a few other places, or even just on archive.org. You know what I mean? Like literally just put it on archive.org or something like that, where everyone can download it, everyone can do their thing. Because that's kind of the point in a lot of ways of ITR. If I was going to come up with a thematic, if I took the idea of thematically publishing each thing, they would all be different. And I don't necessarily hate that. It does need to be accessible. It needs to be a thing, but this is like going full on 100% boutique. As far as promotion, it can still be social media. It can still be like, but having the boutique thing, it points everything at one URL. And so the question then becomes, do you throw ads on it? Do you, with ITR, I think the answer would be yes, because that's what they would do in the story. You know what I mean? Like, but like, it just depends on each thing. If that's the answer, which I'm not saying you're saying it is or isn't, I could definitely figure it out myself. But are you saying that? And what do you think of that?
As in putting it on like an unlisted thing and websites and stuff like that?
Well, specifically for ITR, yes. But I'm saying, like, in general, taking the core concept of the theme and synthesizing that into a single point to send people.
Like repair, and so you're okay.
Yes.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that would be a good deal of fun. Long term, it wouldn't. Long term, just naturally, it wouldn't. It wouldn't continue. But for like releasing each episode for like the first month, it's just available only here. Mm-hmm. That actually would be a really interesting experience. I'm curious if that would if the first episode would need to do that, but I actually don't hate that idea because it invites people to have a little more if people care about a thing like that, like really, I mean, just do it anyway, honestly. But weird segue. Kane Pixels made the back rooms, and he's actually greenlit with A24 to make a feature-length film on it. But whenever he made the back rooms video series, about half of the series was unlisted. You had to search for it, kind of like a little bit of an ARG in a way. You had to go out of your way to find it. Some of them were inside of descriptions. Some of them you had to go to playlists. It was mostly confined to YouTube as far as I remember. But it actually felt like you were discovering something. This first video absolutely caught your attention. The second one piqued your interest. And as he continues to release stuff, you know that whenever he releases this video, there's going to be 2 or 3 other things that I need to go find. Kind of like a little Easter egg hunt. So I think it would be really cool if it was a bit of an Easter egg hunt, where you sent people on a little bit of a chase to find like all of the chapters for this one episode or something, or just the full episode, but some kind of interactive experience where they need to quote unquote hack or tech repair or something like that would actually be a really fun thing to do. That's probably thinking too big, but like you said, Druthers.
It's almost always plural like that.
That's the Druthers. I actually think that would be a lot of fun. Yeah, synthesizing the idea of it's a legal tech repair. How do you make that interactive for people? That would actually be.
I think that's brilliant.
That's really good. It reminds me of like ARGs and stuff like that, but it's a little different. And then you can make each one kind of themed to whatever the song is. Gives people something to actually do. And then, of course, long term, it's like long term, they would just be regularly available to people. But at the very least, for the initial release, it would be really cool for people to have to go find it. That would actually be really cool.
Yeah.
But then you just run into the same thing where, well, it needs to be good enough for them to find it. And that just that's like a shot in the dark. Is it going to be good or is it going to be mid? And there's no really good way to tell. You just go for it.
Bro, you have random spots in Poets at War where the feed cuts out because it got hacked.
That'd be nuts.
As a promotion to go see the thing.
Wait, hold on. I'm confused. Say that again. I thought you were talking about me specifically, and I was like, wait, what happened?
No. Poets at War. You're listening to
the
it.
website.
The podcast.
Oh, the podcast. Oh, and it gets like the transmission gets hacked, and you're like, what's going on? And like this property has been seized by this company or whatever, and so like this little special segment can only be found like on a website, which leads you to come on, that's so brilliant. It's like there's a little segment or a little transmission that the only way to unlock the whole thing, maybe the whole discussion between these people or whatever.
We purposefully break all the social media feeds on occasion, but then like you go back a day later and the thing's gone. Like you have a TikTok that's just like some duct tape with a URL on it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like just et cetera, stuff like that, right?
You could play with it as though it's a sort of ARG. I don't know if I'm using that word correctly.
ARG. I don't know what
you
that
are.
is.
Alternate reality game.
Is alternate reality game.
Yeah, okay. This
You
is
could
Blair
use
Witch
it
Project with the
I
internet.
think that is
No, it's not at all.
not
like
necessarily found
project.
footage.
No, I didn't say found footage. I meant like I could literally, as the host, be like, "Sorry, I don't know what's happening with the video. There were glitches last week.
Yes,
I fixed it."
that's the point.
Yeah.
A guy recently there's been a ARG that Wifey's has been making. He's a Minecraft YouTuber on the King in Yellow. I think he's only got one video on it. It was probably it was definitely worth the watch. It was very interesting. I don't know if if there's extra interactions outside of that video, but at the very least, it's like he's acting as though he's documenting this kind of case. There probably is stuff actually. He's acting as though he's documenting a case, but I'm like 80% sure that he's the one who made it in the first place. But it's like he's discovered it. So kind of think Tolkien didn't write The Lord of the Rings. He found it. So that would actually be pretty cool. Like, I don't know what's going on, guys. I wonder what's happening. And it points to this story being told on illegal tech repair and whatnot. Yeah, I could see that being a really fun thing. You'd have to push it so hard though. There'd have to be a lot of planning going into it, and then once you're in it, all the planning goes out the window. You have to spur of the moment almost everything. Excuse me. But as far as promoting it, like it has to just be on top of it. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to just overqualify everything, but there's tons of good ideas to have there. You just got to make sure that it's actually a good enough project to be worth the work. And at the very least, poetically speaking, it definitely looks like it.
He's only read the first episode, Alex.
Only the first episode.
You've only read the first episode?
I haven't had time to do much else. I've been exporting Tactics Part 2 this whole time.
Oh, okay. Do we have any info on Tactics 3?
It is confirmed for April. We don't have exact dates.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. So I have some stuff to work on in regard to that. Do you think that in the meantime, as far as a workhorse thing, that continuing to produce these as audiobooks is a good thing to be doing?
Say again?
Do you think as a workhorse thing while I'm doing this, continuing to produce these as audiobooks is a good thing to keep doing?
As in just the format that they've been done as?
Yeah.
I don't see a reason why not. There's no reason to completely change gears yet. Not at all. Yeah, just continue doing what you've been doing.
Okay.
Finish the story, make it good, and then worry about the rest later on whenever people are able to get a rain check, so you know what you're working with. And if it winds up just being you know, like, I have advisors and I'm gonna go full in. And if you know there's extra people, now you got extra people.
I've got at least Sarah Levesque and Debbie for female voice actresses for various things. I think Sarah will sing. I don't know about Debbie one way or the other. But yeah, you've said you've wanted to voice act occasionally, and then Dante has said so as well. I'm sure Alex would. Obviously, I got a ton of voices and stuff anyway.
Of course.
So as far as voices, I think that's not going to be hard. The production aspect is a thing for sure, but like, I really don't, that part doesn't scare me of making the actual thing. It's the promotion after the fact, and I gotta make the thing first. So
yeah, but that stuff comes in its own time. I wouldn't even worry about that too much. Just make it. Continue making the project. I mean, who knows? Maybe in a few months' time, or whenever you actually start like really kicking up dust for this again, you realize like, oh, I want to do Guardians of Atlanta first instead. Or you're like, I'm just going to make a completely new project or something. I don't know. That's your call, dude. It's your stories. We want to help you make them, and we want them to go where, to reach as far as they ought to.
right.
Then part of that's figuring out where it ought to.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that I want to do the least is hijack this. This is first and foremost your project. If you want people to be involved.
That.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know if that would be helpful though. You might maybe you're like, please help. Please tell me what to do. I know I would like that.
Well, here's the thing, projects. Jesse. Here the idea of the idea of getting enough money and handing it to you and Benjamin Curley and being like, figure it out. These are the things you have. You have my performance. You whether vocally as a speaking voice, whatever you need. You have my performances as the storyteller, and you have these stories. Figure it out. Like, that's the dream. You know what I mean? Handing it to you guys, figuring it out and going from there. Like, honestly, production wise, that's the dream for me. And then actually delivering my performances and the writing the way they need to be, and general direction about like aesthetics and character design, you know, just general stuff that you could take and run with. Right. But I don't know, man. Obviously that's like the dream and whatnot. I'm not saying like that's actually even potentially doable, but the fact that you're into it, and you and Brendan and Benjamin would probably be the team, to be honest with you. If I could have all three of you. But like, I don't know, man. I'll keep praying about it and stuff and seeing what I want to do in that regard, but there's so much that could be done. One of the things that immediately came up to mind as far as promotions, cool thing that could happen is going to college campuses and putting diskettes with some kind of cryptic message on them that has a text file that has the URL to watch the thing. Right, so they actually have to take the diskette and find a player, a thing for it, and then it'll take them to the URL, etc.
That would be pretty funny.
That'd be pretty sweet. So, and even if they didn't do stuff with it, like they get a diskette out of it. There you go. You get however many kilobytes of data. So there you go. So, but anyway, okay. I think we're good. I think I need to get going on my other stuff, but
Okay.
I really love you guys so much, and the more I think about it, I think one day, I was talking at Fight Laugh Feast to both of you about we have the chief bard, chief architect, and we need the chief artist. I really do think that unless God puts someone else in our shoes 5, 6, 7 years down the line, I don't see how you're not the chief artist, Jesse. That's just me being honest. Like, I'll do what I have to do to get to that point where you could do that. And it's not like it's a major thing. It's just the chief artist of the brood. You actually are trying to get people the tools that they need to make their thing, is basically the way I look at it. And
you're also actually making art.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And getting paid for it.
Yeah. And so that's the thing that I'm just saying that out loud just because I feel like it needs to be said out loud. I don't see 3 people in the brood besides the 3 of us that would work in the sort of triangular, what did you call it? A aristocracy, Alex. I prefer feudal system, but it's the same sort of thing. I don't see three gents in the brood on the same page as much as the 3 of us for this specific thing.
Yep.
And Lord willing, if we get out there eventually, we'll at least be in the same region and we'll be able to do what we need to do.
Yep.
I don't see another option at this point. I don't see, if God provides it, great, sure, but like, you're penciled in for potential within 10 years in my mind. You know what I mean? If you're willing to do it. So I just wanted to say that and put that out there, because obviously my project is the thing that, like, if we get it done, Poets at War is off to the Poets at War Press is off to the races, and like, we'll have something to really push. If it's someone else before me, I'm totally happy with that. I'm happy to play second fiddle. I'm happy to, do whatever. But like, I still think I'll be Chief Bard. I'll be the person, pushing everything. I'm the Willy Wonka. Come to our factory. Check out what we do.
The mascot.
Right. The spokesperson and all that. The host of the whatever awards.
If not Willy Wonka, you'd at least get to be the Oompa Loompas.
Right. And so
at least I just that title.
Yeah. And so I'm like I said, I'm just saying this because I feel like if I don't say it, it won't be pointed out. I think Alex is in complete agreement based on what I'm hearing
absolutely.
in his voice.
100%.
And so the amount you actually care about this and the amount of time you've actually put into talking to me about these sorts of things speaks volumes. And I want to thank you so much for it, even just for talking. I know it's your all's company policy and whatever, but like, it's way more than that. Ever since we talked that first night when you came in, it was just like, I slept in my car. It's so crazy.
It was the morning. All right.
Yeah, it was the morning. Yeah. He I'm sure he's one day going to have like a fully rehearsed version of it, but his visual description of seeing you've used phrases like this giant figure silhouetted against the wall and stuff like
Giant
that, rising
figure.
from bed. Right.
Blocking out the rising sun and what hope of daylight I had.
Like that's gonna be something that you say at some award ceremony that we do for Poets at WordPress one day. I almost guarantee it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the puzzle pieces are there. The puzzle pieces of Providence are there, guys. Like, we just need to keep praying and keep working. I am in full agreement with Jesse on music. I really think I need to be doing that more. You're the harshest critic, Alex. I feel like if the three of us are 65% okay with an individual poem, it should be ready to roll. What do you think? Like if all of us
I think that bar should be 70 personally.
That's fine. I'm fine with 70. So
Harsh
basically
critic.
the point being, if each of us give it a 7 out of 10, it should be good to go.
Or higher.
Yeah, 7 out of 10 or higher. So that includes AI jankiness, you know, what it taken into account, whatever else, all that kind of a thing. But if I produce something and each of us give it a 7 out of 10 or higher, it's good to go. Otherwise, I need that quality check. That's something I'm realizing I need at this point. And if you guys can just give me that, I can start producing songs and having them ready to go when the time comes. I already have 30 AI audio tracks. I literally 1 away from finishing Standing Peachtree, Alex. But I'm working on the vocal tracks. I'm trying to get the vocal tracks better. I'm trying to get better tools for doing other singing voices and other people involved. But the point being that I'm working on those and I have more stuff. I need to be able to go song by song basis. I finished a song. Here's draft 1. Give me a out of 10. Alex, Jesse, me. And then if the average is over 7, I think it should be good. Do you guys agree?
I think so.
I think so too. And
Okay.
I think I can promise that if you send the text of a single poem, I can get you a out of 10 rating within 24 hours.
Sweet.
I might not be able to
Jesse,
get to it that day, but I think I can get it to you within 24 hours.
Can you get one to me within a week, Jesse, if I send a text poem to both of you?
Just individual poem or whole episode?
Individual poem.
Yeah.
You can definitely get it within a week.
Definitely.
Okay. Guardians is not changing. As far as poems.
Yep.
Obviously, we're going to work on Idiot's Guide. We need to figure out the structure of Idiot's Guide before I start sending poems. But once we get the structure taken care of, I'll finish writing Idiot's Guide, and then we'll start at Diners in Space, number 1. And we're going to go through each one and give a rating. Does that sound decent?
Mm-hmm. And insofar as they, just working through them. Yeah.
Yeah. See, look, you're already doing it. You're already doing quality control, which is a major component of the art of the artist, the chief artist. So, consider yourself drafted without all of the responsibilities at this point, because none of us totally have the responsibilities. I'm probably 90% there, but the rest of y'all are like, hovering around 40. So would you agree, Alex?
Yep, I would agree with that.
So, but that's enough for me right now. I need to be the one pushing. So that's
And you need to be pushing on the other work that you need to get done tonight.
Yep. That's what, and I appreciate the extra 20 minutes, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get off. I really appreciate y'all. Praying for you.
Love you, man.
And praying y'all make money and do what you need to do and get married and have babies for you, Jesse, more babies for you, Alex, and all the rest.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Love you, man.
Good night, y'all.
Love you, Jeff. Good night.
Bye.
You too can be a part of the brood of writers and poets at war. Just visit joshuadavidling.com/discord to join. If you're a true poetry patriot, you can support us on Substack and Patreon and get the recordings of all of our encouraging and strategic meetings, along with much more. Once again, all links can be found at joshuadavidling.com. Over and out.
God of song said,